my viewer. This is the Academic Tower on Lookup TV. I'm your host, Dr. Benson Nzioka. We are hosting a Pan-African Christian University, and specifically the School of Theology. And with us this morning is Dr. Chiroma, the Dean, School of Theology. I want to remind you that Pan-African Christian University is the first in many areas. It's one of the world-class universities this world has ever had. We are so privileged to have our Dean, School of Theology, Pan-African Christian University. Sir, you're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Kindly introduce yourself, sir.
Well, hello, viewers, and thank you so much, Dr. Nzioka, for having me. Like you said, my name is Dr. Nathan Chiroma. I'm the Dean, School of Theology. I'm also an ordained minister of the Gospel of God, and currently I'm the Dean, School of Theology at Park University.
Thank you. Now tell us, what has it been like in terms of your training up to where you have reached, sir?
Training, my passion, growing up, I love to work with people of God. So I've been a pastor. I trained as a pastor. A couple of years I pastored churches in different African countries. And then after that, I did my first master's here in Nairobi. Then it was Nairobi International School of Theology, but now it's ILU. And then I went to South Africa, did another master's in theology, and then did my PhD all in South Africa, Stellenbosch University to be precise.
Wow, that is great, sir.
Yeah.
It is nice you have all this world of experience and knowledge. And now that you are the head or the Dean, School of Theology, Park University, now, what has been your experience from the time you started up to now? How is it like? Because I know you're teaching young people, and also there are also professionals that come to that university. And Park being a fully accredited university in this country, I mean, what has it been like?
Yeah, it's been like a really growing journey, because one of the things that people fail to understand, the question you ask is, why do I have to do theology? Why do I have to do theology? We have a lot of people who feel God has called me, I can go do ministry without theology. And it may interest you to know that more than 90% of pastors in Africa who pastors our churches don't have any theological training.
True.
So, and that's as a result of that, we're having what we're having today in most of our churches. Yes, in Africa, for example, like we said, Kenya, we are 80% Christian, but we see the impact on the street. We see the impact on the marketplace. And that's why we have to understand that theology is important. When we study, then we can be able to minister in a different perspective, the way God wants us to minister. My experience has really been a great one. It's good to see young people come in the way they are and then getting transformed, because the purpose of education is not to get a job. The purpose of education is for you to bring about transformation.
Wonderful.
That's why it's called transformation, not just kind of information. So I've seen many pastors who have come through their ministries, their lifestyle, because our focus is not just about the academia, but it starts with your lifestyle. Can you be an example based on the lessons you have learned, based on the education you have acquired? Can people see you live it before you even teach others? So we have seen tremendous growth. We have seen life being transformed, and we have seen people setting paces where God has called them to be.
Now, sir, I like what you say about you are teaching or training at Park for life. And that it's not just academics, it's all about life, all about engaging people and developing them to develop this world for the purpose of Christ's glory. Now, what has been some of the hallmarks, some of the achievements in the School of Theology and Park as a whole so far? Would you like to mention or share with us?
Yeah. Well, like you said, Park University have been in existence now for about 40 years. They started as a Pan-African Christian college offering a degree in Bible and theology and counseling psychology. But about 10 years ago now, they got a charter to be full-fledged university. But one thing about Park University is their distinctive Christian character. Meaning, we have a lot of people who are graduating with BCom, graduating with ICT, graduating with various degrees. But we're saying, what angle do we come in at Park University? We want people with character. Education without character, it's somebody like said, you're educating another the devil out there. That's what somebody said. Because yes, you can have an accountant. If the character is not what it's supposed to be, that's why you find accountant embezzling money. You can have a lawyer. If there's no character, that's what we see. But we're saying at Park University, our goal is holistic. Our goal is to see how do we get the education, not only the education, but to shape your character. Because as believers, ultimately, our goal is to be transformed into the likeness and the image of Jesus Christ in what we do. we believe that everybody has a calling. So the School of Theology, God has helped us. We have various programs that we have developed, especially our Master of Divinity program. We have Master of Arts in Charismatic Pentecostal Studies, which is unique.
Yes.
We also have Masters of Arts in Children and Youth Ministry.
Wow.
The population in Africa, by 2020, Africa will have the highest number of young people on the continent.
Yes, sir.
But what are we doing to respond to that challenge? And that's why we're offering the Masters of Art in Children and Youth Ministry, and also we have the Master of Art in Biblical Theology. Yeah.
Wonderful. I like the variety park, as you say. You say the Master of Divinity, Master of Arts,
Charismatic and
also
Pentecostal
Charismatic
Studies.
Studies, and what other
Master of Art in Children and Youth Ministry.
Wonderful.
And Master of Art in Biblical and Theological Studies.
Okay. Now, in terms of enrollment, what are the requirements for one to enroll in any of these programs you have, not just in the School of Theology? What are the requirements?
Yeah, as like I said, since Spark is a chartered university governed by Commission for University Education, we adhere by all the Kenyan rules and regulation. The entry requirement for a degree program, for a diploma program, for a certificate program, for a master's program. We are guided by the regulations of Commission for University Education in Kenya.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you are encountering at Pan-African Christian University as trainers and educators, and would like to share with us today?
Yeah. Well, you see, challenges makes us grow. Without challenges, life will be very boring. So we have challenges in life to make us grow. Part of the challenges sometimes we have, it's of course student enrollment. And sometimes people have a notion, well, private universities are expensive. Why should I go to private university? I can go to public schools. Forgetting that, like I said, we have an added dimension of the educational we offer, because we don't just want education for education's sake. So, and then also you find some of the challenge of, there are some students who would come, as usual, some of them will not want to really align to what is there, because the notion right from high school is you are coming to university because after that you need to go get a job. But we're trying to help them understand that university education is already about a job, but you can also create a job because you have been trained, you have been equipped to be a transformer. So from that, you can be able to create a job out for that. So basically, that's some of the challenges that we're having. People need to understand, why do I want university education? And once you understand why you want university education, it's easy for you to come, and then you blend and you study and be what God wants you to be.
Thank you, Sardine, for that. Now, would you kindly share with us the comparison and contrast between educating these young people in the university, like Park University, and also the professionals? How do they compare in terms of training these two groups?
I don't know what you mean by professionals.
I mean, these are people like, for instance, that are already working elsewhere.
That's correct. That's correct.
Experts in their areas.
Second career.
Something like
That's
that.
correct.
And
That's
then we
correct.
have this one fresh from high school and are coming to the university.
Yeah.
How do they compare in terms of teaching there?
For those younger ones who are coming from high school straight, you have to go on extra dimension to help them, guide them, mentor them, especially to understand why they are there.
Perfect. I like that word, mentor.
That's correct.
Mentor.
That's
Can
correct.
you say more about that word?
Yeah, because some of them are actually sent to school by their parents. Or you have finished high school, okay, you go to university without even knowing. So that's why we said we mentor them, we journey with them. What does mentoring entail? Mentoring entails seeing the potential in the person.
Yes, sir.
And trying to guide the person to bring out that potential that God has deposited in that particular person. That's that. So for the younger people, we don't just do like andragogy pedagogy, but we also bring in mentoring as a supportive pedagogy that would help us to help them align their life, align their career, align their calling. And that's the challenge that you do with those younger ones who are coming. But of course, with those who are second career people who are coming to improve on their professions, also many of them will say, but I've been doing on this job for many years. Why do I need to sharpen my skill? But we have to let them know that, the more you know is the more you know you don't know.
True.
And that's why learning is a continuous process. The day you stop learning is the day you die. But also in your profession, there are cutting edge. And you need to be at the tip of your fingertips, the current happening in your field. You can't be using the same method of 1800 to accomplish the same result in 2020. So that's part of the thing we need to help them understand, to strike the balance. For the younger ones, you need to mentor them. For the older ones who are coming second career, you have to help them understand that learning is a continuous process. Yes, you have whatever your profession you are doing, but how can you be better in what you're doing? Because even the Bible said, fan into flame the gift that God has given to you.
Okay.
So you don't just fold your hands and say, now that I have a degree, I've arrived. learning is a continuous process.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate it. Now, another question is the issue of timing. Now, if somebody wants to take classes at Pan-African Christian University, when are the times, days, and whatever?
Yeah. Well, like you said, Pan-African Christian University is not really about theology. We have 3 schools: the schools of leadership, business,
School of
and
leadership.
ICT. Yeah. And then we have the School of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Yes, sir.
And then we have the School of Theology.
Wonderful.
These are 3 basic schools that we have. So meaning we're not only doing theology.
Okay.
Leadership is one of our key areas, and the many other things we do, BCom and the rest of them. So basically we have 2 streams. We have the morning sessions and we have the evening sessions. Morning classes normally starts between 8 o'clock and ends probably at around 2, 3 o'clock. Evening classes, for those who are working, starts around 5:30, ends at 8:30 p.m.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. Now, comment on online teaching. Do you do online teaching at Pan-African Christian University, and how is it done? What has been your experience so far?
Yeah. One of our strengths is also the online teaching. One
Wow.
of the universities that started the MA online in Kenya.
Is that so?
In Kenya, MA in leadership. Yeah. So as time goes on, actually, we have, my colleague will talk about that, we have a Bachelor's of Art in Theology also, which is, completely online. What we're saying is the world is moving towards that. And now we are aligning ourselves as a university also about. And then when we say online teaching, it's not just about sending the student courses online, sending the students email, but we have a learning system where even the students can actually have lectures face-to-face. They see the lecturer.
True.
On that, and that's the kind of online learning system that we are implementing. It's not an online system that is just about sending notes, but there are times where you have face-to-face lectures, agreed timing, and all of you will log in. You see the lecturer, you ask questions, and you respond to that. So our cutting edge also now is we are leaning more and more towards online learning because that's where the world is heading to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I like that. Now, comment on the areas of research and what have you from Park University.
Yeah. You know, the strength of any academic institution is research, because through research, then you begin to find out what is happening really on ground, how you're making contributions.
Yes.
Most of our master's programs and even our BA programs, we encourage research. And actually, as a university, we actually have a journal. We have a journal where people can publish their research findings. We have a directorate actually for research, and they are at Park University. So meaning we take research seriously because we believe that through research and innovation, then it gives us that opportunity to be in tune, to be in touch with the industry, to be in touch with the market, real market world. So we take research very seriously in all that we do.
Wonderful. I think that is well said. Bear in mind that university is an engine of knowledge, and not just, and Pan-African Christian University is not only giving knowledge, it's also giving the how to use the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Because one thing to have the knowledge and to know how to use the knowledge. So Sardine, I think that's very good.
Yeah.
Now, my viewer, we've been having a discussion with Dr. Nathan Chiroma, the Dean School of Theology, Pan-African Christian University. Remember, Pan-African Christian University is one of the world-class universities this world has ever had. We're so happy, we're so privileged to share and to hear those views from our able Dean from School of Theology. Sir, thank you so much for sharing with us. My viewer shall be right back after this short break. Thank you.